So, hello, y'all. I'm back again with another video for y'all, with another reading. I hope everybody is doing great. Okay. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, I'm Donnescha. If you like this video, I hope you subscribe. It'd be really wonderful to have you. And welcome back to everyone who's been around. You know, it's good to have y'all back always. Okay. So today's reading is going to be something Spirit wanted me to do. And it just popped up in my head. So we're going to be getting into your strengths and your weaknesses. And also, like, I guess I want to, for some reason, I want to do, like, name the strength and weaknesses and, like, your light and dark side. I don't know, like, so I feel like it's kind of the same thing a little bit. But mainly, like, your strengths and your weaknesses, okay? So, you know, there may be some solutions in this reading for that. This is definitely not an advice channel or anything like that, but maybe, you know, it may come through for, like, some of the weaknesses, or maybe you want to see what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you want confirmation, or you just want to see what will come through, and then you feel like you may resonate with it. That's good. Like, look at it that way, I guess, too. You can look at it, either of, them ways. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. Okay, so hopefully you got an idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's get into the group selection. Of course, I don't have anything on top of the groups to help you with your selection, because I do want y'all to, start pulling more from your intuition, to go with the ones or the one that's you're most drawn to, because you can't pick more than one group, especially if you feel drawn to more than one group. But yeah, so we have 3 groups again. Group 1 is gonna be over to the left of the screen, so right here. Group 2 is going to be obviously in the middle right here, and group 3 is going to be here. Okay, I do want you guys to take your time when making the selection. Give it a pause if you need to, but please remember that this is a general reading, so not everything will resonate with everybody out there, as it is for a collective of people. You take whatever feels right for you. You leave them other messages to other people, then, you'll find you'll be all right. But, if nothing resonates or whatever, or, you don't feel right, or you feel, upset about any messages, just, click off the reading. It may not be a message for you. Not every single reading I do is going to be for you every single time. Okay, so I want you to remember that. And, yeah. With that being said, let's get started with group number 1. So hello to everyone who selected group number 1. This is be our reading. We're going to see about your strengths, your weaknesses, your light side and shadow side. That's probably what I wanted to say in the intro. So, but I said light side and darkness, if you did watch the whole intro. But yeah, the first thing we're going to take a look at is your strengths. So that's going to be the strengths. But we got the weaknesses back here. Strengths and like your lighter side. We have the mountain, zebra, rejection, and the ancestor. Okay, so for some of these, I will look at the books for additional information, but I'm already getting a message here already. Okay, so just give me a second here. I do want to get my book open to the mountain. I feel like you guys, one of your strengths is you're able to, accept criticism, or like constructive criticism. You accept rejection. You take it like a champ. You don't let, just because you was rejected for something, you don't let that stop you. Okay, that's one. And that's a strength of yours, because some people don't have this strength, and so they let that stop them, and they end up giving up. So I feel like one of your strengths is regardless, despite rejection, you able to keep going, or You know, even if things are looking, I want to say looking bleak, is that's the right word to use, or is looking, you still keep going despite, you know, mountains and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's because you just really grounded in your emotions. Your emotions are grounded. Like you are connected to your emotions, but you know, I feel like your emotions are balanced with your masculine energy, which is a great strength. Again, that keeps you moving forward, keeps you, you know, able to accept rejection and valid criticism or constructive criticism, and actually work to improve yourself. Be like, okay, I know I can work on this. You know, I feel like also you take responsibility, and I guess you want to say accountability. You're a type of person, you will take accountability for, you know, your actions, or for something you did wrong. Like you able to call your own self out. You really good at that. That's a strength of yours, you know, to help you recognize, you know, what you need to work on and stuff like that. You also have the one of your strengths is you're uplifting, not only to others but to yourself. So you don't only uplift others, you uplift yourself. Again, that's why you're able to, you know, overcome so much. We got the ancestor here. That is the Hierophant, but again, I'm reading intuitively, okay? So I feel like that's because, again, you have that masculine and feminine energy at a balance. Like you able to ground your spirituality. You're able to ground your spirituality, your emotions, and like put it all together to where you're not, you know, totally consumed, like a totally emotional person while also being spiritual. Some people think that because you're spiritual, you're more emotional, which, you know, most spiritual people are, but it's like you're grounded, you know, in your emotions, if that makes sense. Okay, you're okay. Another strength of yours is you are okay, or you were okay, or you okay with being different, with being what's considered a reject or rejected, like in like you're okay with being, I want to say also like rebel. Also, that's what's coming through. Like you're okay with that. You've accepted that you are different, and so you're not mad at the world because you're different, and you don't let that stop you from, you know, moving forward. Okay. That's one of your strengths. If you ain't realize that, that's some of your strengths there. Let's take a look at the zebra. I do want to take a look at the zebra here. I believe that's under, which is interesting because I believe the zebra that's under fire. I was about to lie and say it's under earth. Let me see. Yeah, it's under fire. Yeah, maybe you are the type of person who have like eccentric energy. Doesn't that lean into the realm of being kind of like unique, different in a way? Hold on, guys. Let me see. Because if you don't know me by now, y'all know I got to see some stuff, so I know I'm using like the correct words here, okay? Yeah, unconventional. Like that's what I was saying, right? I promise I don't be knowing what's up under. I promise y'all. Like I feel like you're okay with being unconventional, or like maybe you have an unconventional look, style. And you're okay with that. You don't care what nobody got to say. Whatever, you know, it is what it is. Are you unique looking? So that's your strength. Maybe because you look unique, it works in your favor. Or you get a compliments on something, so it can be something specifically about your nose. Like maybe you have a specific, I don't know why I said nose. They showed me something about a nose, so that can be specifically for some of y'all. But maybe it's something just very unique looking about you, or amongst your people, like amongst maybe it's something unique about you amongst your race or ethnicity. Like it's something different, like you have something that's not of the norm of that, if you get what I mean. That's the way you can look at it. That's not gonna be for everyone, but and like you proud of that. For some of y'all, it can be something that's irregular about you, or again freakish, like it can be, or something bizarre, like, or again, but that's, you know, that's your strengths. You know, maybe again, you can work with that if you haven't, or maybe some of y'all do. You gain from it. Some of y'all, maybe you can build a platform off of it. Like, for example, I'm thinking of people with like birthmarks, or or something like that. Like, maybe you have like a unique birthmark on your face, and it like stands out. That's the first thing people see when they see you, or something like that. I'm just giving an example. But that's your strength. That's something beautiful about you, or is recognizable to where you can stand out in a way. So that's your strength. Okay, if you ain't know, maybe you thought that was your weakness, but that's your strength actually. And you are okay with that. For a lot of y'all, you guys are okay with that. You don't let that hold you back, or maybe let you being different hold you back. Hey, I don't care if I'm gonna wear what I wear, and I work in this particular field. It's not normal to have this kind of hair or dress like this in this particular field, but I'm gonna do that, and I don't care what nobody have to say. And that earns you a lot of respect, which is why it's a strength. I know I would respect something like that. And like for you, your ancestors. All right. Another strength is you connected with your ancestors. You maybe work with your ancestors a lot and stuff like that, because we do have the ancestors. I mean, that is the Hierophant, but also you're connected to your spirituality, but also you're grounded in earth. You know how to intertwine that, and helps you move forward. You're not all the way in one or all the way in the other. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're not just you have that balance on your masculine and feminine energy. Also, your strength is you're a visionary. You are a creative, which helps you a lot. Especially like you can tell that way by the way you dress that you're creative and you're a visionary. Because again, for some of y'all, it's very unique, or it's very stylish. Maybe you get compliments on that. So maybe also one of your strengths is like the way that you dress. Again, maybe it's not eye looking or unique, but it's something special about it to where you get complimented on it a lot. And so that's because again, you are a visionary, because it said here, it's fashion forward. And again, worldly, you able to connect with the world, but also again, with your spiritual outside of the world. Also, another one of your strengths is you are an adventurous person. Like, maybe you travel a lot, and you're not afraid of traveling alone. Of course, be safe while you're doing that. And you don't because you don't have nobody to go with you to do stuff, you don't let that rob you of having fun. Okay? So that's some of your strengths or whatever here. That's coming through here. Let's get into the weaknesses. Oh. All right, so let's get into the weaknesses, okay? Your weaknesses are, your shadow side or your dark side or whatever. We have the Queen, which is interesting because it is coming upside down. The Snake. Creation. Okay, and we have which is interesting because you had creative for you. Give me a second here. So we have the Queen. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Queen, okay? So let me get to it. I just want to look. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so I'm getting a couple different messages here with this Queen energy, okay? Now, sometimes, and, maybe this may offend some of y'all, but hey, it is what it is. If you don't like it, don't listen. Sometimes you can become too... So maybe you may be too vain sometimes. Or at least you come off that way. But, I mean, this is talking about, like, your shadow side. So it's good to have, like, remember when I was saying, oh, you don't care what, like, people think and stuff like that, this, that, and the third, or, you don't let that stop you. And it's good to have like that confidence, but maybe sometimes you it maybe become excessive, or or maybe you're just overly prideful of your accomplishments, and it comes off as bragging, or you use your accomplishments to shit on other people sometimes, or for example, like people who use their degrees to feel better than someone who doesn't have a degree, in a way. Now maybe you do that again. If you take offense to this stuff, like, don't listen. But that's what's coming through here. That's just an example. It can be for any other thing, but that's what the, like, some of the meanings for the queen means. Maybe sometimes you can be a bit demanding and you don't realize it. And when I'm saying like a snake here, because they got a snake here and a snake here. So that could be a shadow side. It is what it is. That's what's coming through here. Because, I mean, you could have too much of a good thing sometimes. You understand what I'm saying? Did I say self-righteous? Sometimes you can be a bit self-righteous. I feel like some of y'all think that you right all the time, or because sometimes you guys have an attitude here, which can be a problem. You feel like it's everybody against you, or like you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes, even though you can hold yourself accountable, like I mentioned, but sometimes you feel like it's everybody against you. This can also be like past energy as well. Maybe you used to be like this in the past and you're trying to like come out of that. That's what I'm seeing here. Let me see something. Another one of your weaknesses is, because, I mean, when we talk about, like, a shadow side, we talk about the snake. I mean, snake can represent, like, transformation and stuff like that. What else snake can represent? Let me see here. It can represent rebirth and stuff like that. And then because it's shedding skin. Sometimes, or, your shadow side can be, sometimes you don't want to make changes. It's good sometimes to change some things up if it's going to move you up in life. But I feel like some of y'all weaknesses on your shadow side is that you have a problem with transformation or changing things because maybe you may be just set in your ways. That can be some shadow energy coming through here with that. You may be too overly protective, or you may have up guards and instead of having a boundary, you may have up like a guard or like a wall sometimes, so where people can't get to you. And it's a form, it's just you're trying to protect yourself, but it's coming off as you being guarded too. That's a shadow side. You can be very guarded, and that again, that's just you trying to protect yourself, as well as, for example, maybe you're guarded when it comes to like people who are romantically interested in you, and so you may be guarded because you don't know what this person's intentions is, or you feel like, for example, like, well, not for example, but remember in the first half of your reading, if you resonated with what I said, it may be something unique or different about you that makes you stand out or something, or something like that. You feel like this person not really attracted to that, or like you fear that this person is like using you or something, and like, I don't know, it's something like that. Or they would, first time an argument happened, they'll point out that flaw. Like, maybe you've had that happen before. You understand what I'm saying? Or something you consider a flaw, but it's actually a strength. You understand what I'm saying? So, for example, I'm just using this as an example, okay? let's say you lean on the heavier side or whatever. You and this person interested in you, you know, they may be, you know, small or whatever the case may be, or just they look very different from you, they opposite. And you afraid that this person may be, you scared this person may be, you may be a fetish to this person, or they may be using you for something, like you fear this person may be using, or they not really attracted to you, or they have like ulterior motives. It's hard for me to say that word. Like they have not good ulterior motives. They don't have good intentions. If you get what I'm saying, okay? I just want to make sure you guys understand. Okay. I feel like, and some of you guys tend to put yourself in a shell, like you are like, again, with the boundaries, like you tend putting a wall up. So you're trying to keep these people out, but you're keeping out individuals who do have your highest good, or serve your highest good, or who do have good intentions, right? And you want to keep to your own little self and create. And it's like you're creating, I feel like with creation coming through here, you're creating things and doing all of that. But it's like, you know, your weakness could be, or your shadow side can be, you're creating to avoid something. Or like to not address I know I keep saying I apologize about that, to address something that's inside of you that you haven't addressed yet. You understand what I'm saying? So you use creation and stuff like that, and that's a good thing, like to use, you know, your creative talent or your artistic talent or whatever to channel, you know, some type of pain. You understand what I'm saying? But apparently you might not be using it right. That's what's being said here, if that makes sense, okay? But I do want to, let me take a look at creation here again. I feel like another shadow side for you is like you're afraid to look to others for direction, because you may feel like, you know, if I not look to others, but like ask for help or to get help on where to go or what direction to take. And that kind of hinders you because it's like sometimes we do need help. So maybe, you know, it could be with anything. And that's, you know, that kind of like keep you stuck and stagnant, if you understand what I'm saying. Because again, we already know that you guys are very, very creative. I don't know, you tend to get stuck in your old ways. You tend to don't want to change. Like sometimes, because in the first half, you know, with your strengths and your light side, you don't care what people think and stuff like that. You don't care. But sometimes I feel like what's coming through here, you would pass up a really good opportunity because they said you have to dress a little bit more down or take the color down a little bit in order to, you know, which I understand people need to express themselves or whatever, but, you know, if you have a dress code, you have a dress code with certain stuff. You know what I mean? So maybe you've missed opportunities because you didn't want to take like a certain piercing out, or, you know, you didn't want to shave or something like that. And maybe you look back and like, I kind of regret it, but I kind of don't. But it kind of let you miss an opportunity. And maybe that can be like, sometimes it's okay to like change something or take a risk. It's not like you can't. If you have to shave, it can't grow back. You have to shave something or cut something short. I don't look, y'all. I know we head in the territory where something can be kind of could be discrimination, but it's kind of like this thing where some type of dress code issue or something here sometime in the past, or something that, you know, if you have to take something out just for a certain amount of hours a day, then, you know, why would that be an issue, I guess. But, you know, just take what resonates. Then we have the Knight of Arrows here, which is the Knight of Swords. So with the Knight of Arrows, I feel like sometimes you tend to, if I didn't mention, you have a sharp tongue as well. With that Knight of Arrows coming through with that Queen reversed, obviously because this is the shadow side. You have a sharp tongue. You tend to say stuff that's offensive to people, but you don't realize it. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes. But then when people tell you, of course, you take accountability because you have no problem with taking accountability or responsibility for anything. You know what I mean? But it's like, sometimes you think out loud or something. You say everything you think. That can be a shadow. Like you say everything you think don't need to be said. Or like you always have an opinion on something, and you don't necessarily have to always voice your opinion because, you tend to have a sharp tongue, or like, it's a way to get a message across to people, or the message across without, being an ass about it a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying you're an ass, but you get what I mean. And again, you may not do this intentionally. It's just something that happens. You understand what I'm saying? Like your mouth, your mouth can get you in trouble sometimes. Okay, and that's just your overly confident stuff coming out. But it's kind of like it's hard for you to control. You could do some throat chakra work to get that under control. But that's what I see here for some of y'all shadow side. You can be also another shadow side. Sometimes you just hide stuff too much. Like you could be secretive. So say, for example, if you in a romantic relationship or you in a friendship, it's like you shut down when something wrong. And they ask you like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Like, what's going on? You shut down. Oh, nothing. Like they know something wrong. Or you like, I just don't want to talk about it. Like that, and that, can be very frustrating to your partner or to your friends or to your family, whatever, or to the people that's close to you. You tend to shut down or shut everybody out when you going through something. And it's like, we can't get to such, whatever your name is, we can't get to them because they're always shutting down that, you tend to keep secrets or be secretive about stuff. And some stuff you can keep private and like keep to yourself because you know what I mean? But it's like you do it too much. Again, too much of something that is good can be bad as well. Like we can be in hermit mode too much, or we can be over, like outside too much, or like around too many people too much. You understand what I'm saying? To where your energy getting drained or whatever. And et cetera, et cetera. It can be too much of a good thing, Hell, if you drink too much water, you could become overhydrated. And water good for you. So I'm just saying that's another example of too much of a good thing. I remember, I know some, maybe some of y'all went through this, but I know somebody who, they went to the doctor, they said they were drinking too much water. They need to stop drinking so much. Like they was drinking too much and they, a lot of the electrolytes and stuff was unbalanced because of that. Like they thought they was doing something good, but they was drinking too much water. But you understand what I'm saying? So it can be too much of a good thing. So I don't think your shadow side like bad, like nothing hard to like work on. It's just, simpler things you can do to work with, some of the, your shadow side. So it's not really that bad, or the dark side. Hopefully you guys, I know it was kind of, because you know why it was kind of hard for me to talk about your shadow side? Because it's really not that bad. And it's really not, something that's hard to get through. You understand what I'm saying? Because it feel like it was kind of hard for me to talk about y'all shadow side. I don't know in this group. But that's all I have for everyone who selected group number 1. Thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you did like the reading, that would be very much appreciated. If you'd like a private reading from me, the information is in the description, my email down there, what I offer and everything like that. Don't be afraid to send me an email. Hit me up if you want me to do a reading for you. I'll hook you up, okay? If this group didn't resonate, you didn't like it, or you want to hear another message, you're always welcome to pick a different group. That's totally fine. And until next time, beautiful people, bye-bye. Hello and welcome to everyone who selected group number 2. Okay, we're going to see what is your strengths and weaknesses, or you can say also your light and shadow side, or light and dark. I know I said light and dark side in the beginning, but it's the same thing. Dark side, shadow side, same thing. But we're going to be taking a look at that, okay? First, we're going to look at your strengths, or, your light side. We have Venom. the horse. Well, horse. Perception. And we have the Woodward. Okay, so for some of these, I will be using a book for some guidance, but I'm mainly going to be reading intuitively, okay? So we're going to start with the Venom. Okay, so I feel like with Venom, you are able to, you can take a whole lot, like, I don't know what happened in your life, but maybe a lot of you guys have suffered in a significant amount. You able to take on a lot. Okay, and I know, you know, people can look at, well, that's not good because then you become burdened with stuff, but you're able to take on a lot without feeling like, oh, like strain. I don't know. Maybe one message is coming through here. One of your strengths is you might be actually physically strong naturally, or you have natural, what word am I looking for? Why I can't think of this word? Endurance, a stamina, like, I don't know if you realize that, but you have, like, you can, I don't know if, maybe you are a type of person who engages in activity where it requires, like, endurance or something, like, it can be natural, but you have endurance as well. And maybe also just endurance, and, like, you're able to take on a lot, and not break. So it's like you are like a, steel almost, like you're straight, like you made of steel, you know. I don't know, that's what's coming through here, like you kind of made of steel, because I'm reading intuitively again. And of course we all not like, of course things can break you, but you understand what I'm saying here. Another strength is like you are really good with your words. You know, you're very clever. You can talk yourself out of a difficult situation, or you can talk yourself into, maybe you can talk people into hiring you or something like that. Maybe you're really good at doing interviews. Maybe you interview people, like maybe that's your job or something like that. I don't know. Or like you may be really good at interviews. Like when you're going for a job, like every time you didn't keep that job because whatever reason you left it, but you was able to get a job because you good at interviews. I don't know. It's something like that. Like you know how to talk to people. You articulate. You can say that as well. But I mean, as far as like talking up, because you could be not really articulate and able to talk to people in a way. If you understand what I'm saying, like, maybe another one of your strengths is you able to strike up a conversation with a stranger, you know. You're not shy or nothing like that. Like another strength is like you'll talk to somebody first. What, you know what I mean, when they have some people who can't do that because, you know, so you may be a very like person, you good with people, you know what I mean? Some of you guys' strengths is whether you like the same sex or the opposite sex or whatever you like here. Hopefully it's another human being, okay? Okay, because we're not into, you know, if it's not another human now. And that's my weak attempt at being funny. So we know when I'm trying to be funny, that's not my strength. But I feel like regardless if you like the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever your sexuality is, you have, you know, maybe you have siren energy as well. I know that's not the siren card, but for some reason I'm getting siren energy as well. Like maybe you have natural sex appeal, so you able to attract a lot of people, like the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever it is. Or hell, maybe if you know, you able to attract both men and women, you know, whether regardless if you just into men or women or whatever the case may be, whoever they or whoever you may be into, you able to attract a lot of, you know, people. Because like you have, I don't know if you might be a sexy person like physically, or you have like a certain shape or something like that. Regardless if you're a man or a woman, it's something about you like that. I don't know, maybe you have a big breast, or you have a big chest if you're a guy. Like, it's something about you that, or like you just have like this aura around you. I guess you want to say, all this essence. It just comes. It can be something about your eyes as well. So you can use this to your advantage as well in life. That can be a strength, you know. And that's actually a light side of you, you know. That's something that's nice, right? So you have your way with words, and you also have, for some of y'all, or for both, you know, maybe you have both. You have your looks that play as well. So, you know, I don't know who you guys are. Maybe you're not resonating with this. It may not be the reading for you, but yeah. And you know what else though? I feel like you guys sometimes, another strength, you got something about you that keep, actually, because people look at the venom and say, oh, you know, you got venom energy and you toxic. No, I'm seeing it as you keep toxic energies out, because it's something like you have this energy, or again with your essence and stuff, you actually keep toxic people out, or you intimidate people who, like, you intimidate people who could use you in a way, because you give off a certain aura, a certain essence again. So I know not to mess with them, because I can't, you know, use this person. I can't walk all over this person. Or you make people, okay, I guess people would say, you make people have low self-esteem, or like feel like they out of your league or way, or you, maybe, I know this may seem like this is like a weakness or like something bad, but it's like, maybe you tend to draw, like, people be jealous of you and stuff like that. Hell, you know, I don't know. That's something that's coming through here, but I'm seeing it as like a good thing as well, because that tells you, you know, hey, you a bad something, you know. But it's also like, you know, good, because this is confirming the other messages. So, and you able to grow through suffering as well, through because it says self-realization through suffering. So you realize a lot through the suffering that you did go through. That's a strength. So because you already been through those trials and tribulations, whatever you want to call it, the suffering, it made you realize a lot. When some people go through stuff and they turn out chaotic, you know what I mean, or they don't learn nothing from it. They actually turn into that. For example, like, for if this may be triggering some of you guys, but if you've been abused, you know, you the type of person who you realize some of you came out of there great, or like had a self-realization, hey, you know, if you was in an abusive relationship, again, this may be triggering, you realize you don't deserve that type of treatment, or I deserve better, I don't deserve somebody like that. You realize that instead of being someone who come out of that situation and get right back with someone and don't know the red flags, get right back with another abusive partner, or, you know, come out of an abusive relationship, or being abused in your life at some point and turning into abusing your damn self. So you get what I mean? That's your strength, is that you didn't turn into that, or you didn't come out of that and go back into another similar situation, because you realized something out of that. You know what I mean? You had self-realization out of that. So I want to take a look at the horse. So with the horse energy, you have expansive energy. Like, you know, like you're like a force, and you don't let nobody hold you down. You kind of got the energy of someone who is like you know, like this independent boss type of energy. Again, it's very intimidating, okay? So it keeps foolery out in a way. You understand what I'm saying? It keeps foolishness out. And you're able to, with that horse energy, it's like achieves anything. Because maybe your strength is, you use your strengths to achieve anything, right? Again, I was saying strength training. Didn't I? Yo, I cannot make this up. I knew I wasn't tripping with, that's why I was getting that way. You able to, like, endurance. Maybe again, like, you are the type, well, where maybe you can lift heavy weights. I don't know, and it's natural to you. I don't know nothing like that. But it say here with strength training, like you gained a lot of strength. through suffering, or like you endurance, strength. You can take on a lot on you, put a lot on you, and like, you know, maybe that may be your strength when it comes to your work. You can take on a lot of work. It doesn't bother you. So, because you can take the weight of that, like, you understand what I'm saying? So that may be your strength. Yeah, physical stamina, right? Physical stamina. Didn't I promise on everything I love, I don't be knowing what's up under here. And I can't remember none of the meanings of none of these animals for the life of me. No matter how many times I use this, I can't remember none of them by heart. That's why I use the book too. And that's why, you know, I'm more of an intuitive reader anyway. Yeah, stamina. It says here, you know, something here with exercise. So maybe you're the type of person, like, your strength is like you able to dedicate yourself and get up and, you know, you work out. They got a good percentage of people do not work out, or, you know, do no type of exercise, you know, when we should be doing something. And maybe you work out 5 days a week or 4 days a week. You dedicate yourself. Like, you may be somebody who's very, which is a good trait to have. You may be very, what word am I looking for? Consistent, or you consistency. You good, like, you, when you get into something, you very consistent with it. Okay. When you get into something, you normally stick with it. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, the hearts can be never give up energy. So you good at consistency, right? They got some people, you know, when people say, oh, consistency is key, that's a saying. People constantly say that because a lot of people cannot be consistent, but you can be consistent when you do stuff. You may be, also another strength of yours is organized. That's why you can do stuff, because you are organized. You're not all over the place, and you are great with planning as well. That's another strength coming through here. And again, you're expanding, like you constantly growing, expanding, you know. So it's making you a force. And again, freedom. You don't let nobody hold you back, nobody hold you down. Like, for example, if you around a group of people, and these group of people, you realize these group of people holding you back, you're going to do away with them. You're not going to stay in that situation, right? Because you already know what it's like to be suffering, or, you know, you had that self-realization, or to be held back in a way due to some type of abuse, or whatever the situation was. Don't just have to be abuse. So you get out of those situations. And when it comes to friendships, romantic relationships, hey, you realize this person trying to hold you back, or they trying to, like, belittle you, or like trying to humble you in a way, or like knock you off your throne. Hey, I'm done with you. I see your intentions now. I'm gone, you know. And that's, again, that has a lot to do with your perception as well. So let's take a look at perception. I'm sorry about that if you guys heard that. But yeah, perception. You can see through bullshit, right? You can see through, the heart knows what the eyes cannot see. You can see through BS. You good at reading people, which again, that is a strength. You can read people. You can see the BS at the door. And maybe you may entertain it for a little while because you bored. But you like, I know I ain't finna go forward with this person or with these people. You also, another, you trust in the unknown as well. You the type of person, you trust in the unknown. Because again, your perception actually helps you with that as well. Because the heart knows what the eyes can't see. I know what's for me will come to me. Oh, that's something that the heart knows what the heart knows what the eyes cannot see. I know what's for me will come for me. You know, or come to me. And also, again, the perception, also the meaning in this book can be like beauty. Because, again, you do have like a beauty, that certain beauty, that essence about you, that archetype. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting like an empress type of energy, you know. Venus, and it also with a man, but you know, you can also be a man, but you know, you have the version of it where it's more leans on a more masculine side, would be beauty for a man, or whatever the case may be. You understand what I'm saying? Or if you're a woman, you know, you're able to appreciate the beautiful things in life and beauty. You also really good with decorating as well. Something here about decorating. That's a strength of yours. I don't know if maybe you're a decorator. Maybe you. Something here about flowers as well. Like, I don't know. You can put together. I don't know. Maybe people call on you, like your friends, family, or whatever, call you to help them decorate with stuff. Are you good at that, or help them fix something up when it comes to like parties and stuff? I don't know. It's something like that. You really good at that type of stuff. They be like, let me, whatever your name is watching. They might call you and be like, I want you to help me with, because I remember how you helped when you helped your sister with, her. I really loved how it looked, and it was, you and your sister did it, and your sister said, you was the one that helped her. So I don't know, and so I was wondering, like, can you help me too, to set up for my birthday party, or like help me with my color scheme with this or whatever. I don't know you. I know I keep saying I don't know, but that's how I talk. And again, like you also with, you also have like a big heart too. You are very, what people don't know is they may see you and be like, wow, intimidating and stuff, but you actually are a very nice person. And that's why people like be jealous of you as well, because not only are you beautiful, not only are you, good with your words and stuff like that, you also have a big heart. And that, that, I mean, maybe you was a victim of this in the past, of like having friends that was actually jealous of you, and you didn't even realize that, because you was always like being nice and doing all this, not realizing they was talking stuff behind your back, or thinking you think you better than everybody and stuff like that. People literally said that about you. You understand what I'm saying? Or maybe somebody came back and told you, or you feel like they keep picking like your friend, like get agitated or aggravated around you because they jealous. It's like a jealousy type of thing. So the Wood Ward, let's take a look at that. Yeah, that's your compassion coming through as well. And I feel like, again, you have another thing, maybe you're really good at a lot of things, like many things. Maybe you have like many skills, and you know what those skills are. So you may be skillful, and you could use those things to your advantage, right? So again, for example, maybe you're good at decorating and stuff like that, but you also like physically appealing, and you good with your words and stuff like that. Like this skillful, this is like good, you can work with that, right? You good with your words, you good talking and stuff like that. And you good at decorating and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe for some of y'all, another trend, like you good with makeup and things of that nature, or something like that. With your makeup, don't matter if you're a man or a woman. I know they got some men who wear makeup and stuff like that, so. Or it can be like, it don't have to be like makeup for beauty. It can be like, some type of face painting, or like special effects type of makeup. I don't know, anything like that. You may be really good at that, but that's not something you do for a living. It's just like a skill that you have. Or you may be actually really good at braiding hair, or like cutting hair, but you're not a hairstylist. You're not a beautician or whatever, right? Or you're not a barber, whatever the case may be, but you know how to do it. You know what I mean? But that's another skill you have. So that's one skill. Then you know how to decorate. This is just examples. Now, you can apply that to however you're watching this reading, and you have your own set of skills. But, it just means that you have multiple skills, many skills. Because this is the guardian of the sacred spear, also known as many skills. So, yeah, I'm talking about with the Wood Ward. So you are also, I feel like you guys, or another strength is you were very mature even when you was a kid. Your maturity level always was above your peers. Like you always was above your peers as far as maturity. Now this can literally mean, for example, like maybe you're the type of person who, maybe you had a late birthday, so that would make you the oldest in that class. I don't know whatever country you're from. I don't know if your country do this, but I know we have this thing to where you can have a late birthday, and like you would be a year, technically you would be a year behind, but you gonna be the oldest in that class of student, because if you would have been the youngest, and your maturity level wouldn't have matched that those students because you would have been the youngest in that class of students. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So maybe you have a birthday that's in November or October, September, somewhere like that. I know some places cut it off in October. Some cut it off, in September. Now, where I'm from, they cut it off in October. But maybe for you, you was already, your maturity level was above because you was the oldest in your kindergarten class because you had to start school because you had a late birthday. So that made you like one of the oldest or something like that. I don't know. It's something like that. Or it could just be like you just was always more mature. Because maybe you had a January birthday and like you understand what I'm saying, and and you one of the oldest. I don't know. I don't know why I'm using that as an example. Hopefully y'all understand what I'm saying. But it could just be in general. Maybe you were always more mature with your age. Maybe when you was a child, you didn't really get along with or play with kids. Even let's say you were around 13, 14, you found yourself, and not in this weird way, because I know people why would an adult be friends with a child? But you feel like you want to be around the adults more instead of being around so many kids. For example, maybe you want to sit by the teachers instead of playing on the playground or something. I don't know. I don't know, something like that. Or if you had a family function, you over there sitting by the adults or something like that. Maybe you might go out and play sometimes, but if you get what I mean, and maybe that's because your maturity level, maybe, you started talking before, the age, whatever age we start talking, you started knowing how to speak at a very young age. You understand what I'm saying? Young, before the natural age for a baby or a toddler to start talking. You started talking and your words was clear early on, or you might have, for some of y'all was ahead as far as academically, maybe you finished before everybody in your class, and you was very smart or something like that. That was some of your strengths and stuff of that nature. And just in general, whether you was in college, now it can be with work too, you more advanced than, some of your colleagues. You know what I mean? Maybe you just more advanced than people who over you. You do better than them. It's you do better than other people, which this also caused some jealousy too, as well. So they may have been, maybe you worked at places where they've been tension in in your work environment, because people are mad because you just work, you work better. Are you, you are favored because you are a better employee. You understand what I'm saying? That's not your fault that you good at what you do. And you may have found yourself in situations like that. As well as when you was in a child in school or whatever, people could have been jealous because you smarter, just better. It don't just have to be, for some of y'all, it's the beauty and the brains, but some of you, it's your brains. People get jealous of that type of stuff. Or maybe even with your siblings, too. Maybe you guys had to where siblings or your family, too, just jealous of how advanced that you are. So that's what some of the strengths you have. Okay, let's get into some of the weaknesses and the shadow side. Okay, so it's time for the shadow side, or the weakness. Okay, let's get into that. So we have the desert, the beaver, dissipating, and we have the 4 stones, protection. So I'm gonna start with desert. Maybe, some of your shadow side, which, because we have desert, and it can mean the drought, the wastelands, and things of that nature. Your shadow side is, or your dark side is that you tend to feel lonely even when you're around a lot of people. Now, I'm not saying there's a way where you have some type of mental illness or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about, like, sometimes you just feel like you be around a whole bunch of people and you still feel alone, or sometimes you feel alone in the world, even if you good with talking to people and stuff like that, and you know, you being a people person and stuff, sometimes you tend to feel like alone. And I feel like, or like feel you have this shadow side to where you feel like you might end up being alone, and you start to lose hope. So maybe it'd be hard for you to make friends or to find partners due to, you know, some of the strengths that you have. And you have grown, now you have this feeling, or you get in this attitude like, oh, well, you know, whatever, if I'm alone, I'm alone. But then you also feel lonely as well. Like, you feel lonely. You want to, so it's kind of like you, or even though you are good with people talk to you, you kind of like don't feel accepted. You know what I mean? Regardless of them strengths you have, like sometimes you don't feel accepted. And I feel like that's just, a lot of this stuff is just in your mind. This is a limited way of thinking. So another shadow side, sometimes you have a limited way of thinking, or like a negative or dark side of yourself. And sometimes, like maybe in the past, you used to tend to isolate yourself too, or you feel isolated, because again, you are the type of person who, you know, again, you can talk to people, you can strike up conversation, but still, in the same way, you can tend to isolate yourself as well. Sometimes you isolate yourself because, again, you don't feel accepted. In a way, that's what I'm saying here. Let's get into the beaver. So the beaver is under earth. Give me beaver spirit. No, the beaver is not in earth. The beaver is in earth. No, it's in, hold on, guys. Sometimes you tend to, with the beaver, this is actually underwater. Sometimes you tend to feel useless as well, even though you have all them strengths, or like some of the strengths I mentioned, which some people would be love to have some of those strengths, but sometimes you just feel useless, or you feel worn out sometimes as well. Even that can be a shadow side. Maybe you can take on a lot, but sometimes you do wear yourself out, or you take on a lot so much you don't realize when you are being worn out. And so that, you know, that can conflict each other. I know it's kind of like, ain't that like contradicting, but just listen to what I'm saying, okay? Just listen. It'll make sense if you just listen, right? But maybe, you know, maybe that's not the case, because you can bring this beaver into balance by physical labor and selfless service. So maybe if you're not doing any of those things, or, okay, your shadow side can be you tend to come out of your routine sometimes. Like maybe your shadow side is, if a big event happened in your life, right? If something happened, when it pulls you out of your routine, then you start to feel useless and worn out. So it takes you a bit to get until you get back into that routine. So you got to stay in a routine, or stay planned out in order for you to function, or to be, you know, some of them strengths I was saying, right? You have to be constantly doing something. That can be, look at it that way. I know it's kind of like I'm talking all over the place. Just whatever resonates, because different messages coming out of here. Look at it that way. See, I done lost my train of thought. You gotta be doing something. Like, your negative thing is you feel like you always have to be, or like a shadow side, you have to be productive. You don't have to always be doing something. Yeah, it's good to be productive, but not all the time. You the type of person, you gotta be up doing something, or you gonna feel like you're useless, or you doing nothing with your life. So maybe some of you guys tend to, another shadow side is that you work a lot. You work yourself to the bone, and you need to learn, like, maybe you don't take breaks or whatever, or you just, sometimes it's okay to like be what the hell with stuff. You don't have to always like plan everything out. So your shadow side could actually be Sometimes if you overdo your strengths, your shadow, it can become like a shadow. So your shadow side is like if you do too much with your strengths. You understand what I'm saying? If you do, but you gotta, be easy when it comes to your strengths. So you really ain't got too much to be worried about, really, in your shadow. Okay, so let's take a look at dissipating. Yeah, so it's like, again, when I was saying, like, sometimes, you feel like you need, like, you don't have, you feel isolated. So you need companionship, you need connections. And sometimes you feel like you feel alone even around a lot of people. That, again, with that dissipating energy. I'm just going by some of the meanings of this in this book. Hold on, give me a second, guys. I'm just going by, with the meaning in this book. Because it's saying here, let me look something up, y'all. So I know, because dissipating can be like, well, I'm getting more of definition 1. Like vanish, disappear, evaporate, with reference to feeling or entangled and disappear or cause to disappear. So maybe, again, you feel like when you're around a lot of people, even you still feel alone, or maybe even still feel invisible, even if you're getting attention or whatever the case may be. Or sometimes you tend to feel invisible, or like feel as though don't nobody really want to connect with you. Like your strength, some of your strengths makes you invisible, if you get what I mean, to a certain point. Because I know this is something that can happen. Like you still feel invisible. That's like a shadow, and then loneliness comes in. Yeah, are you freaking kidding me here? It says here, another one, the lack of planning does not indicate misfortune. Am I doing what I say? Just because you ain't planning something out, or like, you know, I can't, wait, hold on. Because I want to make sure I'm staying on it. You don't have to always plan everything. You understand? You can just sometimes just do stuff without planning or whatever. I know the importance of planning, because I am the type of person who like to plan and do stuff like beforehand, but not all the time. I don't. But you may be someone who constantly do it. You don't have to always. Sometimes you can do stuff at the spur of the moment, okay? Or like just, you don't have to plan everything out all the time. If you get what I mean, just sometimes do stuff. It doesn't indicate that something is wrong or whatever. Um, mm, Sometimes here also with dissipating this energy can be um, some of the skills you have, you don't put them to use. You just be thinking like, oh, for when I had used, for example, like maybe are good with like special effects and makeup or something like that. You like, I always wanted to like get into makeup, but you always thinking and dreaming about it, but you ain't never started. You ain't never start to doing makeup or whatever. That's just an example. You always just dreaming about it. That's a shadow side. Like you need to start like taking. Sometimes, for some of you tend to like just dream a little bit and not take, the action. The Four of Stones. And also I feel like that kind of goes with that energy of, being invisible, and or like feeling like that because you kind of like feel alone, or like I'm kind of getting that like a similar energy to I had for group 1, like not like a shell, but you like in a cocoon in a way, like in a cocoon. Even though you out there, you're still like in a cocoon. I feel like for some of y'all, a shadow side, and don't take no offense to this, sometimes you kind of like make yourself, sometimes you make yourself little in order for people to feel confident about themselves. You know what I mean? You may not resonate with this for something. You make yourself smaller. You understand what I'm saying? In order so that this person don't feel insecure, or these people don't feel insecure, so you make yourself smaller. You understand what I'm saying? It's what I feel with some of the shadow sides coming through for y'all. That's all I have for everyone who selected group number 2. Thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did, in fact, enjoy the reading. If you resonated with it, that'd be very much appreciated. Of course, you know, of course, if you want a private reading from me, that information is in the description. My email, you know, my prices, everything I offer. So don't be afraid to hit me up. You know, I could hook you with something if you want a private reading. Check the description. If this group didn't resonate, or you want to hear another message, you know, especially if you were drawn to another group, definitely go ahead and do that. That's perfectly fine. And until next time, beautiful people, bye-bye. Hopefully you come back for another one. So, hello, group number 3. This will be our reading. We're going to take a look at your strengths, and your light side, and your weaknesses, dark side, or shadow side, whatever you want to call it. Dark, shadow, same thing. So first, we're going to take a look at your strengths and your light side. We have the Warrior, the Oyster, Vanity, and then we have 5 of Stones, Endurance. Very similar to group 2 in a way. But, you know, I say that now because I'm looking at the card, but watch the energy change. Okay, so first we're going to take a look at the Warrior. So with the Warrior energy, you have, you know what your purpose is. You know you have purpose, and so that keeps you going. So you're the type of person, like your strength is, hopefully I ain't say nothing about weaknesses. I feel like I said, maybe I'm tripping because I've been channeling so much. Your strength is action. You are very action-oriented or orientated person. You take action. You advocate. You know, you're the type of person who will advocate for certain groups. You actually use your voice to speak up about certain stuff. You might be the type of person who, you know, your strength is you defend and protect, especially if it's someone who can't use their voice or who can't defend themselves. Like maybe you saw someone getting picked on when you was a kid, you used to defend like people who used to get picked on or whatever, right? And so they know not to mess with this person no more because, you know, you put them in their place. You understand what I'm saying? You have another strength. You don't have a problem with, again, speaking up and putting people in their place as well. You also are, your strength is you're a great mediator as well. And you know how to resolve, you know how to resolve stuff, like resolve conflict situations, and your resilience is out of this world. It's like you're like a samurai too as well, with the warrior energy coming through here. Now, I'm just going by what the book say. You know, I don't know. I know certain stuff is specific to certain cultures and stuff like that. I'm not trying to, you know, say stuff that's gonna be like, oh, why would you use that word, this, that, and the third? But look, that's what the book say, okay? The soldier, the advocate, okay? You don't like confrontation and just like arguing and stuff like that. Again, you the type of person, you like conflict resolution, I guess. Am I using the right words here? Like to resolve stuff. So your strength is you're not for the confrontation. I ain't for the drama. When you ready to sit down and have a conversation, then holler at me. Till then, peace. You know what I mean? You that type of person. When somebody start yelling, like, I'm out. You starting to yell, I'm gone. Like, when you want to sit down and have a conversation, then you can holler at me. You understand what I'm saying? You that type of person. You got that type of mindset and attitude. So it were like maybe you are just really also I feel like another one of your strengths, maybe you are very tall as well, so that works in your advantage for something. Now I know everybody, maybe you're not a tall person, but you know, maybe you are. I don't know why I'm getting like you're tall or something like that. Or maybe, you know, maybe if you're not physically tall, like you have like a big presence type of energy. And so, you know, like when you walk in the room, people recognize you. We can say that with vanity. People see you when you walk in the room because it may not be nothing to do with your physical looks. It's just with your energy and your essence. It's kind of giving me like Leo type of energy, okay? You don't have to be a Leo, but that's what I'm getting here, like a Leo ascendant or something like that, right? You don't have to be, again. Okay, so I feel like you also, your strength is you would be cool with anybody. It don't matter how somebody look or what type of a language barrier, whatever or whatever. You'll be cool with them. Like you friends with everybody. Like everybody know you. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody know you, whatever your name is, who watching, right? Let's take a look at the oyster. And so, and connection. So I feel like you cool with everybody. So you formed a lot of connections, which is good because those connections can help you whenever you go through some type of, you know, obstacle in life, you know. You are also someone who, one of your strengths is you can keep your mouth shut with oyster. Like because the oyster is a secret keeper. So your secrets are safe with me. Even if you're not friends with somebody no more, you don't tell their business. Because they got people tend to do that. That's not right. Even if you and that person not cool, that don't mean you go back and tell that person deepest, darkest secrets. You the type of person, your secrets are safe for me. You tell me something that stays between me and you. That's your strength. Okay? And you also, another one of your strengths is you're patient. That's why I say you're patient. Even if, you know what I mean, like somebody yelling at you, look, I'm not going to yell. When you ready to sit down and have a conversation, we're going to have a conversation. Okay? But I'm not about to be in a screaming match with you. So you're a very patient person as well when it comes to a lot of things. Another one of your strengths is also very, very much generous and masterful. So you may do something and be good at it like quickly, like learn quickly with something here. Like you may be like a fast learner when it comes to like any type of thing. Now I'm not talking about as far as, it don't have to be just academically. It can be anything. For example, it could be like to build something or whatever. Or you want to you get into something and you learn it quick. For example, like maybe you're the type of person who, okay, you watching this, maybe you into tarot. Maybe you ain't know what tarot was at first, but then when you learn what tarot was at first, when you learn what tarot was, when you finally learn what tarot was, you ended up understanding each tarot card with an abundance of discovering tarot. That's just an example, okay? Or to build something, or maybe, you know, for some of y'all, maybe you understood how to work on a car or something like that fast, or you know what I mean, or you know, I don't know, it can be any damn thing, okay? And that's because you are the type of person who are very focused, and your determination that helps you, you know, able to learn quick and understand stuff quickly, okay? Maybe you catch on quick with a new job as well. That's an example. Like, they'll be like, oh, well, you catching on quick. You start somewhere new and somebody training you, you catching on like this. You gonna know what to do immediately. You already know what to do. So when you start, you know, shit, you working just like everybody else. That's another example. And I feel like this is something that was, I don't know, I've been told this was a gift from the universe for you so you can maneuver through life easier. And like when something happens to you, you think to yourself, I am blessed. You know what I mean? You feel like you're blessed. You know what I mean? You're being blessed. That's how you identify it. Okay, so vanity is here. So let's take a look at vanity. With vanity coming through here, you may be the type of person who is, you like things to be big and exciting. So, what am I trying to say? So I guess one of your strengths is you're like big. Again, like with big, because I'm getting it, because I'm going by more of the meaning of the book instead of like vanity, like the definition. But again, you like big, like tall, or like maybe for some of y'all you have like big old hair or like big shoulders. It's something like you wear you big this bigness about you. It can even be size. Ain't nothing wrong with that, okay? Um it's like wow, I'm here. Like people recognize you when you or like look at you when you walk in the room. Okay, this is one of your strengths. Or this can be a strength of yours. You need to play up on your bigness or like something that, you naturally have. Something here about tall or big hair or like fluff, like ruffles and like big old clothes or something. I don't know. It's something of that nature. But for some reason, this is coming through as a strength. And you guys, I feel like another one of your strengths is you know that you know your strengths. You know them your strengths. And so you tend to play up on them a little bit, or like at least, if you're not playing up on these strengths, if you're not using these strengths, you know that you need to in order to, or like you should, not need to, but you should. But you kind of like some of y'all, maybe you guys have a little bit of fear of using these strengths. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Another thing is, your faith as well. Like your faith, your strength is like you keep faith regardless of whatever's going on. You stay, like again with the I'm blessed. That's your faith coming in. Like you stay blessed regardless. I'm gonna be blessed, and you have faith regardless of whatever going on in your life or the situation. You keep the faith. And so that's why, most of the time you will be in a situation, you find that you get out of the situation quickly is because your faith is strong. You keep spirit in your corner. And so the universe recognizes that. So if you end up in a situation, you get pulled out of those situations fairly quickly. So that's your strength. That's your strength. Because again, I'm reading intuitively. You okay? Another one is you okay with not. It's kind of similar to group one, but not. It's in a different way than group one with their strengths. You understand not everybody gonna like you. It's not the same. It's a little bit different. Not everybody gonna like you, and so it is what it is. Like not everybody gonna like me. Some people just don't have. Mind you, this is true. Okay, mind you, not everybody gonna like you. Right, that is a true thing. But they got people who don't realize this. They don't realize that every single person not gonna like you. Every single person does not have to like you or to understand you or understand your situation. You accept that. That's a strength of yours. Some people don't accept that, and then they find themselves feeling, they start to lack self-esteem or whatever it is they got going on or whatever situation may be, or they find themselves not being accepted by a group of people, or not a group of people not liking them, or like they co-worker don't like them, so they feeling bad because they co-workers don't like. Not everybody gonna like you, right? That's something that you accepted. Okay. That's what I'm getting here with some of your strengths. So we have the 5 of Stones here. Yeah, so you have this emotional resilience. Instead of focusing on the trauma and the past, you focus on your emotional resilience, okay? So you withdraw from your trauma to focus on emotional resilience. And that's because you have that inner strength, that's that warrior energy coming through here. And and you protect yourself as well as protecting others, like you protect yourself. So that's confirming, this card is confirming the warrior energy. Um Also, your sense of humor is out of this world. And regardless of whatever you're going through, again, you able to laugh at it. It don't matter what it is. You tend to find a joke. And I'm saying pertaining to yourself in a situation. You tend to be in a situation and you laugh at it. Are you the type of person is when somebody says something about you or there's an argument, you might be the type of person who be laughing like, whatever, man. I ain't worried about what they saying. And this other person can be yelling at you or whatever, and you be laughing like, I'm not worried about that. You understand what I'm saying? Because you understand humor, is like very important for your laughter. Love is the highest, but laughter, like right there, laughter is very high vibrational too as well. And that's important, like laughing actually, I'm pretty sure what that is. I know they got some type of study out there where if you laugh it benefits you some type of way. Laughing actually helps you. You understand that regardless of whatever it is, I'm gonna go to bed tomorrow and the sun gonna rise the next day. Like, you the type of person, regardless of whatever, I'm going to sleep good tonight. And I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go about my day. Regardless of whatever, this situation is, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. That's what you got that type of mindset as well. That's some of your strengths. Mm-hmm. So let's take a look at some of your weaknesses or your shadow side. So this is going to be the shadow side. Okay, or the dark side, same difference. So you have the Destroyer. You have the Stingray, Prayer, and you have the Nine of Bowls, Respect. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Destroyer. Now, I feel like sometimes, and some of this may contradict some of the strengths, or this could have been you in the past, or this can be you just sometimes. It depends on how you resonate. Sometimes you tend to get into in a self-destructive type of energy. So a lot of I think I talked about this. I talked about this maybe on a live to somebody when I was doing a reading. Like, a lot of times we tend to do stuff that's self-inflicted. So sometimes when you going through, like, it's a self-inflicted wound. Sometimes, like, you do it to yourself, like self-destruction, right? And that can be due to the negativity sometimes. I feel like you still constantly, you have to fight against a lot of negative thought patterns and things like that about yourself. And so you tend to, like, destroy your own self sometimes. That's some shadow side here coming through here. So you send blows to yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Whether that could be in any form. Maybe you downplay yourself sometimes, or you and again, this could be just sometimes type of things. Don't have to be all the time. And again, some of them may contradict the light side or whatever. It may be saying like, well, this contradict, how is it this and that? But this can be just like something sometimes. You also, your shadow side is also this energy where it's, what word am I looking for? It's like you get into this state where it's like, you call stagnation from yourself. This could just be like going with, pairing with the self-destruction thing. Like maybe you hinder your own self intentionally, or like maybe you may be a procrastinator as well. But I don't know, I'm saying you do a lot of stagnation, but you do, this is on you. It don't have nothing to do with your surroundings sometimes. Now, for some of y'all it can, but, it's not like an obstacle you can't get over. Maybe I feel like some of y'all tend to hold a grudge too. You can hold a grudge for a very long time, but it depends on, but I'm not gonna lie with y'all. If you holding a grudge, I understand it, because it seems like you only hold grudges if somebody or people have done you, they have to have done you really dirty for you to hold like a long grudge. But you do tend to hold grudges or whatever, which is not good to be holding on to a grudge. Okay. So let's take a look at the stingray. Okay, so we have the stingray here. So I'm looking at it with the stingray. Again, like, I feel like it kind of goes with holding a grudge thing as well, but also, I think, I don't know which group had this, but they had like a message similar about, because I feel like this with y'all, but I think they had this message, but the message changed. It wasn't the same exact message as this one. I had when I kept on channeling, that message changed. But sometimes it is your fault. You know what I mean? Sometimes you feel like is everybody is like you didn't do no wrong, like, or you can't do no wrong, or you was the good one in the situation, when that probably wasn't the case. So maybe for you tend to not take accountability sometimes. You understand what I mean? And that's okay. They got some people who just, I don't know. That's what I'm just telling you what's coming to it. Don't get upset, okay? Well, it's not okay to not take accountability or whatever. But sometimes you just feel like you always right in a situation. You understand what I'm saying? You're not always right. And that's something you need to, but you feel like you always right. And that's something you need to work on, okay? Also, your shadow side is you tend to get a lot of pressure and stuff from family and stuff. Like, sometimes you do stuff because your family wants you to do it, okay? Or like sometimes you tend to let your family or other people, or, this could be due to a cultural reason, or because you feel like it's the right thing to do, or it can be because of some type of tradition. I know some of y'all be stuck in situations like that, but you tend to do whatever your family tell you to do, or like you follow a path that your family wanted you to follow, but it's not something that you wanted. Specifically, something here with y'all, or something here with that. Some of y'all, you listen to society too much. Like, just because society's saying do this, you feel like you got to do it that way and in that order, or you feel like you're not doing it right. But just because society put these little timelines and stuff like that, or whatever, that don't mean you have to do that, right? Or you feel like, I don't know, because stingray can be like you not having a spine as well. Like I said, maybe you just listen to everything your parents tell you, or your mom or your dad or your grandmother, whatever, whoever, like those, even if you're a grown adult, you know what I mean? You listen to them, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that could be like a flaw of yours, and you don't want to disappoint. But it's at the same time, like if you're not happy with something, then, you know, you're going to have to develop a spine, a backbone or whatever. And like, look, hey, I love y'all, but look, I'm not finna do this. Or I don't want to do this. I'm not happy doing this. I want to, you know, this, that, and the third. And so sometimes when it comes to that, you can't necessarily blame your family because you're a grown adult. You, even if it does strain a relationship or cause issue, you're going to have to stand up for yourself when it comes to your family specifically. Now, you might be standing up for other people, whatever, but something here about when it comes to your family or like your close loved ones or something, like you don't really have a spine when it comes to them. And that's something, that's people you need to stand up to as well. I don't know. I'm not saying cuss them out and all that. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, you know, sit down, have a conversation, be respectful or whatever, and this, that, and the third. Now, if it develops into an argument, they get mad, then that's on them. This your life. Yeah. Some of y'all maybe it was due to, you know, growing up in a very religious, strict family, and you know, maybe they don't even know you watch tarot or like a spiritual person. For some of y'all, that's, I don't know why I'm getting saying that, but yeah. Now, some of y'all, like a shadow side or a dark side, again, you know, when we was talking about, you say you blessed, and all that, which, you know, some things do work out or whatever, and you do take action, but sometimes, you know, you need more than just prayer, you know, you need to, you know, make sure you're following guidance, and, because some of y'all, maybe you, like when I was saying that, the strengths, maybe you don't recognize you have them strengths where you, like, you have to just, you know, have faith and be blessed and everything will work out for you. So maybe you don't have that strength or you can't, you have it, but you haven't accessed it yet because you don't believe in prayer, or you feel like you just need to pray and it'll just come without taking the action. So maybe you have warrior energy, you have action energy, but you haven't accessed it yet because you just haven't, you know, accessed it. It may not be a strength that you've accessed yet, that warrior energy. And so you're just relying on prayer and fantasy as well. So that can be a shadow side for some of y'all. Again, it seems like it's contradicting, but, you know, for some of y'all haven't accessed your strengths yet, right? Because I think in the beginning of the video, I said this can be something you don't realize, or something you can access that you don't realize you have yet. You know, you can access and unlock it. You know, unlock the magic within, right? Sometimes you don't believe in your prayers as well. So maybe you are the type, you have faith or whatever, but you don't be believing in your prayer. So that's keeping you from manifesting as well. That's a shadow side. That's a dark side. That you don't believe in your prayer, believe the words that's coming out of your mouth. Your prayers, in order for your prayers to be answered, you have to believe them, right? You got to believe. If you don't believe it, how? You understand what I'm saying? So let's look at respect, the Nine of Bowls or the Nine of Wands. This kind of plays into the holding a grudge thing. So this is kind of confirming what I was saying about holding a grudge. Because it's like the sign of an involved spirit is someone who can acknowledge past failures or defeats without bitterness or self-torment, and to move forward through life in a positive outlook and wisdom gathered through struggle. And this is something that you lack. It kind of gives me the same energy. Maybe you're not thinking of it like that as holding a grudge, or holding on to something from the past as well. Maybe you're trying to hold on to stuff from the past, which, if it has something to do with a group of people or someone, then you holding a grudge, right? So, or like you holding a grudge against yourself because you didn't succeed at a specific thing, like that, like, you know, and then you start to down talk yourself, like, or if I should have just did this earlier, or if only I would have just woulda, shoulda, coulda. Like sometimes you get into that type of energy, right? And you just hold on, hey, you know, it didn't work out, or I could have did this, but I did. You didn't do it. Yep. That maybe it wasn't meant for you. You know what I mean? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Again. So this hinders you involving as a spirit when you do that type of stuff. Like you are involved, you're involving, but it causes stagnation, right? Really. You have to respect the challenges and the difficulties you've been through. That's what's being said. We respect that. You respect, you acknowledge, you accept those challenges, and then you move forward. That you've been through, you accepted that, okay, that I'm accepting, okay, that I've been through, whatever, right? Because again, you know, some of y'all may not realize this is something about you, and some of y'all, you know, it depends, right? Again, it may contradict some of the strengths, but again, some of y'all have not unlocked that stuff, or you don't realize it, or, you know, this can be some unknown energy for you. Also, I feel like you need, you know, something here about you try to do too much at once, or like you tend to take on big challenges and stuff like that, and it's like too much too soon. And that's the shadow side. Like you try to, maybe you the all or nothing type of person. You need to stop doing that. Don't be the all or nothing type of person. Or maybe you just want to give your all and then you get burn out, or you quit, or you ready to like stop or whatever. That's what I'm sensing here with y'all. Some of the shadow side. But that's all I have for everyone who selected group number 3. Thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did, in fact, enjoy the reading. If you resonated with it, that'd be very much appreciated. If you would like a private reading from me, all of the information is down in the description. Yeah, my email, what I offer, and things of that nature. So don't be shy. You can hit me up, send me an email, whatever. I'll get back to you. And yeah, if this group didn't resonate, don't, you know, I'm losing my train. If this group didn't resonate, if this group did not resonate, you're always welcome to pick another group, or you want to hear another message, especially if you were drawn to another one. That's perfectly fine as well. You can do that. But, you know, I'm heading on out of here, y'all. Until next time, beautiful people. Bye-bye. Hopefully you come back for another one.